All right. Do you sometimes feel like you need a break, but there's just nowhere to go?
We talked to mom and blogger Kallie Branciforte about how to survive at home all day with your kids.
Kallie, thanks so much for being with us today.
Thanks for joining me. Well, thanks for letting me join you, I guess.
All right, with the pandemic, a lot of parents are stuck at home with their kids all day long.
But you have some tips for us for surviving through the day, which it is really surviving when you've got a lot of little ones.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. It is. It can feel, I think for a lot of parents right now, it feels very, very different. We've been doing it for a couple months, but it is still a huge adjustment to be home with our kids all day. So I do have a couple of tips. And my first one is to try to find time for yourself. I'm a big believer that you can't pour from an empty cup, and it can feel really hard to try to fit time in for yourself when you're juggling your kid at home or multiple kids at home. But it's such a priority to find some time for ourselves because it really makes us better parents. It's going to make the day so much smoother.
Yeah.
This can look different for so many people. It's really about finding time that works like in your schedule. So I know what works for me is I've adjusted my schedule so I can wake up earlier in the morning. Like I get to bed a little earlier. I wake up earlier and I have that time in the morning to get ready for myself, but it could be different for different people. Maybe they get time before dinner and their husband takes the kids for a little while, or they have a neighbor friend that can help, but it's all about finding, even if it's 15 or 25 minutes, some time for yourself.
Yeah, I totally agree. I used to sleep into the last minute before kids. Now I make myself get up earlier because my whole day goes better if I have the me quiet time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. And you just need that time, like I said, to fill up your own cup because it's not only good for you, but it's going to make you better at the whole parenting all day long thing.
Now, if the kids interrupt mommy time, do you don't punish them, right? You just have to deal with it.
Yeah, well, it depends on the kid's age too. Like my kid is not even 2 years old yet, so like he's not going to understand the concept. If your kid's a little bit older, you can sort of set it up in a way and say like, this is my half hour, set a timer if you need to set a timer, have an activity that they can be doing. Maybe it's at 30 minutes that they get some screen time to watch a show. So it kind of depends on their age on how you want to do it.
Okay. The next tip is put your phone down more.
Yeah, I think that we all feel like we're using our phones too much. And I'm not trying to say here that the phones are like the devil, because for me, especially during quarantine, they've been like a lifeline to connect with like other moms. When I'm stuck at home like with a kid all day, I'm like speaking to other adults. But I think some of us have just gotten into the habit of like constantly picking up our phone, even like if it hasn't sent us a notification or a buzz, we just get into that habit of checking it. And it can really over distract us. And I find that kids notice when we're over distracted and then they're fighting for our attention. That can make them sort of fussy. It can make them act out a little bit. So a little trick that I love to use with my son is I just have sacred times during the day that are phone free. And this can work, again, whatever works for your schedule. For me, what works is I don't touch my phone for the first hour when he wakes up in the morning, the first hour when he wakes up from nap, and then the hour before bed. But you can work this in however it works for you. Maybe it's just 30 minutes during lunch, or maybe it's 30 minutes before bed. It's just this time where you're not touching your phone. And actually the habit of not touching it as much really helps you get better about that sort of like habit of just checking it when you don't need to check it.
Mm-hmm. And next, you also say get outside. That's maybe a good time to put the phone away when you're getting outside. That nature really helps all of us.
Oh my God, thank God.
Absolutely. There's something magical about being outside. I don't know what it is for kids. I think it's just, there's like less rules, and it's something about the fresh air, but our days go so much better if we force ourselves to get outside. Kids don't care if it's raining, put rain boots on, put a rain jacket on. If it's a little cold, like bundle up. Getting outside is like that change of scenery when you've been stuck in your house all day, and it can make the day go so much better.
All right, now I don't have a child, but I have a cat, and I do rotate his toys. Is it the same scenario here, Kallie?
I think so. I'm a huge believer. I used to be a preschool teacher, and this is where I picked up toy rotation. I'm a huge believer in toy rotation. If you don't know what it is, it's just the idea of only letting your kids have a section of their toys or like a portion of their toys at a time. Because there's actually something called toy fatigue. This is where kids, like their favorite toy can look like a piece of junk because it's just been out so much. And sometimes when there's too many toy options, they just get overwhelmed, and you might notice they like stop playing with toys, or they're not really playing with them properly. So what I do is I just give my son a section of his toys at once. And then when I notice that he's getting bored with those ones, I will rotate in new toys. And it's also really great when you're stuck at home all the time, because I think as parents, like we all can feel overwhelmed with the toys everywhere, like they're taking over our house.
Yeah.
And by rotating them through, it really helps to sort of minimize that toy clutter.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. And then, like you said, you don't look like you're living in a toy store if you rotate them out. What about prep? You say a little prep goes a long way. Do you mean meals or everything?
I just mean anything in general, anything that you can sort of give yourself 15 minutes ahead of time to prep. I'm big on getting, prepping for meals because it saves you time. But even if it's just something like taking 10 minutes before you go to bed to prep an activity for your kid to do in the morning, and then they have something they're doing well, you need to check your emails or you need to jump on a meeting. It can be prepping a couple of lunches so that you don't have to worry about lunches for the week. You can just grab them and go. It's just thinking about, like, I'm one of those people that, like, I love to think about, like, what can I do that will help tomorrow, Kallie?
Yeah.
Like little things will make tomorrow Kallie's life easier. So just think about what are little things that maybe I could bulk prep that will help me for the whole week. They really don't take a lot of time.
Thanks, Kallie. For more great tips, you can visit Kallie's blog at butfirstcoffeeblog.com.
Absolutely. Get up early and have that coffee first. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, I'm going to get up early tomorrow.
I know it was brutal for you just being home all day with Dash.
It's terrible.
No, those are some great tips. Anything that can help you manage it, I love it. I'll help the tomorrow Kara or the tomorrow Scott.
So